Okay, so yesterday we see the overall architecture, or you can say the system structure of database management system. So here we see some of the users who are involved directly or indirectly with the database management system. And today we are going to see the categories of users of database management system. So it can be broadly categorized as actors on the scene or actors behind the scene. Means actors on the scene are the users who are directly related with the database that database management system that is going to be used. And actors behind the scene are the people who are responsible for hardware design and all those things, means who are indirectly related with the database management system. Okay, so in the actors on the scene means users who are directly related with the database management system. The first one is the DBA, database administrator, that I have already explained. Before that, we'll see database designers. So database designers are the people who is the first one that is going to design the database. Means you have already learned about software engineering. In software engineering, what happened is before creating the actual software, what happened is we need to we need to this one we need to collect requirements, isn't it? So first the requirement will be collected from the end users. After collecting after collecting the requirement, we will have a requirement specification. Requirement specification is going to be a document where we will write all the requirements. And then by using the requirement specification, what will happen is we are going to design a model of the database. So that part is done by database designers. So the database designers are going to design the database by using some database models. And then after getting the database model, it will be created by the database administrators. Okay, the actual database will be created by database administrator using some database management system softwares. Okay, after that we have the end users. End users are the people who are going to use the already created database. Okay, so all of them, even the database administrators, will be there as will be using it as an end users also. So it has database administrator has many uh, roles. Okay, he or she will be involved as a database administrator and as an end users also. So end users, it can be live users, it can be any users, sophisticated users and other users. So end users are the people who are going to use the create, who are going to use the actual database. After that, we have the system analysts and application programmers. So these are the programmers. Means I have already told this. Programmers are going to write programs, and in those programs, embedded queries will be there. Means embedded queries will be involved in the programs. It can be written in JavaScript or it can be written in C, C++, whatever. Inside their programs, there will be some SQL queries. means queries related to the database management system. So these peoples are going to be the application programmers who are going to write the programs in which the database is involved. And after that, these are the people who is directly related, who is directly using the directly related to the database management system. You can take any example database management system, bank management system, or railway reservation system, or library management system. They are going to have all of them, all of these for users. Okay. And the other category is actors behind the scene. So these are the people who is indirectly related with the database. So they doesn't need to know or the internal structure of the database management system. Okay, so these are the people who is really such as here database management system designers and implementers. Means they are the system designers. So, for example, we can create a database by using a software called Oracle, or many other softwares are there, isn't it? As SQL Server is there, and other things are also there. So these systems are designed and they are implemented by some other engineers, isn't it? So those people belongs to this one, that is database management system designers and implementers. So this software, by using this software, we are going to create the database, our own database, isn't it? So these are the people who design the systems by using which we are going to create the database. Okay, the actual system they are going to implement and design. The next one is tools developers. So for database management system software, many tools are required. So these tools, small means tools uh, which will be enhancing in what to say, the operations that we can do. Okay, so it will enhance. Tools are used for enhancing whatever operations we are going to perform. So these tools are developed by some other people, some other engineers, and those are tools developers. Those belongs to tools developers. After that, we have operators and maintenance personnel. So after creating the database management system, there should be some people. Some people should be there who will be maintaining the system. Okay, who will be maintaining the system. So maintenance purpose, there are going to be some group of people. So those belongs to this operators and maintenance personnel. Okay, so these are the people who is people who are related, means who are indirectly or directly related with the database management system. Echo by using means based on the uh, users of database management system. Our database management system can also have, means can be we can see them conceptually in three tiers architectures. Okay, we can see them in three tiers architectures, means in three different ways we can see them. Okay, so the first one is the external view. The first architecture that is there in the external level is known as external view. So this is the conceptual view. Okay, this everything is conceptual here. For database management system, everything is conceptual. So this conceptual view will only show you some part of the database. Say for example, in a bank management system, the staffs of the bank will not be able to access all the operations of a database management system. Some staff will be able to access some part of the database management data. Okay, some part of the database, and then some other person will be able to access some part of the database. Okay, so those people, say people say some people X, for example, say X will be able to say a part of the database, say A, and another person Y will be able to see another part of the database, say B. Okay, so Y won't be able to see the A part of the database, and X won't be able to see the B part of the database. Okay, so like this, Conceptually, we are going to have many views of the database. It is only a single database. Every views is belongs to a single database, but we won't be able to see the whole database. Okay, so this external users means this the user here, the end users will be able to see only small part of the database. So this is the external view. Okay, this is one of the view that we can see for the database, for our database, and it is the views that can be seen by the end users. Okay, another another way of representing, or another way of viewing the database is the conceptual schema, and it is the view that we can see in the conceptual level. In the conceptual level means before designing or before create, after designing and before creating, the person, even the DBA will be able to see the conceptual schema, and the designer will also be able to see the conceptual schema. This is the whole model of the database. Okay, the whole thing, so what data will be inserted, what the relationship will be there between the data, and all those things, all the information will be shown here in this conceptual schema. Okay, and this conceptual schema of the database will be able to see only by the DBA and the database designers. Okay, so they will have the knowledge of each and every part of the database. Okay, so that is the whole thing will be able to see here in the conceptual schema. This is also conceptual view. Okay, this is not again the actual thing about the database. This is also conceptual view, and there are many models by using which we can have the conceptual schema. We can represent the conceptual schema of a database by using many models. Those models will be learning it in the few later slides. So that those are conceptual level views. We have external views, that these views are the view of the database, which will be able to see by the end users. After that, we have the next level, we have the conceptual view or conceptual schema. This is the views which can be seen, which can be able to see by the DBA or the database designer. And the last one is the physical schema or the internal schema. This one, the last one. This is the actual thing. This is the structure of the database. Means it will be defining what kind of data structures are using in order to store the data present in our database. Okay, internal structure, physical structure, how data are stored in our disks. Okay, so this is related to the disks. So in the disks, how the data will be stored and what type of data structure will be used in order to store, in order to organize the data, in order to organize the relationship between the data. So all those things are the internal or physical view of the database. Okay, so and it is related to the storage device. So that is why it is known as stored database. And it is the internal level views that we can see in the internal level. Okay, or physical level. So these are the three types of views that we can see, in different levels for our database, for a particular database. Okay, and it is known as three-tier architecture of the database management system. Any doubt? So this three-tier architecture, how they are, means the views are this one are divided into different types. How they are divided depends on the user. Okay, so these people are the end users. End users will be able to see the external view, and the DBA or the actual database designer will be able to see the conceptual view. And internal views, these are the people, or you can say this one, the system designer and implementers. Okay, or means these are the how physically, how internally the database are stored. Okay, so this are, you can say, these are the hidden part. These are the hidden part. You can say this is the black box. Okay, so the only thing the DBA is going to do is by using the conceptual design, they are going to create the database, isn't it? By using some database model. So he or she will only know or the command that will be using to create the database and the data models which is used to represent the database, but he or she doesn't need to know the internal structure of the database. It will be only created by, it will be only done by the database management systems software that is contained inside the database management systems. Okay, so this is the hidden part, this is the black box. Okay, so what data structures are using, what type of means in which way the files are organized and all those things, and we do not need to know these things. Okay, but still it will be, there is a chapter in this particular subject that we are going to see how the physical internal means how we have physically stored the database in the disks. So that we'll be seeing in the last part of this particular course. Any doubt?
Ma'am, are there other architectures for database management system?
Architecture means
Just now we studied no, three-tier architecture. Then
yeah.
are there other architectures too?
Uh, Architectures. This is the three-tier architecture. Three-tier architectures is means we have three different ways of uh, seeing or viewing the database. This is that thing that is not the actual internal architecture of our database management system. If you want to see the internal architecture of database management system, then you can have this one. This is the internal, means means how the things inside our database management is, means how the things are operated. You can explain it by using this architecture. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, any other doubt? Okay, then another property of database management system is data independence. Okay, so that means what happen is, if we change anything in the conceptual level here, in the design, in the conceptual design of our database, it is not going to affect to the external views. Okay, it is not going to affect it to the external views because they are independent to each other. Another thing, if we change anything here, means if we change the data structure that we are using in order to organize the data, then it is not going to affect the conceptual schema, the conceptual design of the database. Okay, so this property of database management system is known as data independence. There are two types of data independence. The first one is logical data independence, and the second one is physical data independence. So this is the thing that I have just mentioned, ability to change the conceptual schema without affecting the external schema. So we can change the design of the database. Okay, we can change the design of the database according to our need, but it is not going to affect the external schema. Okay, the way the external user, means the way the end user is going to see the database will not be changed, even if we change the conceptual design of the database. And that is known as logical data independence. Another data independence is physical data independence. This is the same thing that I have told you. Ability to change the physical schema. In the physical level, we can change anything. Even the disk storage, we can change it. Even the data structure that we are using, we can change it. And it is not going to affect the conceptual design, the actual design of the database. Okay, and that is known as physical data independence. So this is the property that is provided by the database management system to us. And okay, so as you can, I have already shared this slide, means this presentation in your Google Classroom, so you can see this one. This is going to be your assignment number 1. So I have mentioned the classical or the this one classical file processing system that we were using before database management system was there, and they are just the the file processing system that we used in our means that without using the database management system, we stored our data in whatever way we want in our disks, isn't it? So those type of this one data processing system is known as classical file processing system. So you just need to know what this particular thing is, and you need to know the disadvantage of this classical file processing system. Okay, so this is going to be the assignment number one for you people. You have to, I'll give this, means I'll share it in the Google Classroom again with the deadline, and I will provide the deadline for which before which you have to submit this assignment. So I'll again share it in the Google Classroom. This is your first assignment. And these are the reference books that I have already told you yesterday. And next thing we are going to see is the database models. So database models, this database models, I have, I think, I have already used these terms again and again in today's class and also in yesterday's class. So these are the models that we are going to use in order to design our database. Means we are going to create the conceptual design of the database by using this model. So there are different models by using which we can design. We can have a database models. We can have a database design, conceptual design. Okay, so we are going from today onwards. We are going to be the database designer. So we'll be using this model and we'll be designing different examples of databases. So there are many models we can use. The first one is hierarchical database model. Second one is network model, and we have entity relationship model, which is also known as ER model. And then we have the most popular model, that is relational model. And the last one is object-oriented database model. This is the latest database model which we are using, the object-oriented database model. Okay, so hierarchical database model, network data model, that are these are not so important. I will just mention how the models looks like. So hierarchical database model, they are designed in such, means in a hierarchical way. Okay, we'll have a parent node and then we'll have child nodes. We already know how trees looks like in our data structure. So in a tree like structure, we are going to model our database. Okay, so for example, in the highest, if we have institutional database, if we have a institute database management system, then what will happen if we represent it by using a hierarchical database model? Then at the highest level, what we will have is we will have the details about the institute. So institution will be the, means NIT Manipur, you can say NIT Manipur is going to be in the highest level. Okay, and after that we can have many category of nodes, means it is going to be the child nodes of the first NIT Manipur, and those child nodes can be, means they can represent the departments like CSC, ECE, civil, mechanical, like that. Okay, so in the tree like structure we can model our database, and this type of database model is known as a hierarchical database model. The second one is network model. Again, this hierarchical database model is a part of network model. Network model, here we are going to use graph. Okay, we are going to use graph in order to have the database model, in order to design our database model. So in the network model, the data will be represented by the nodes. Okay, and the relationship between the data will be represented by links. Okay, link between them, edges between them. And this third one, this is also a very important data model. So we are not going to go to the details of hierarchical database model and network model. Okay. The third one, we are going to see it from the next class onward. This is a very important database model, entity relationship model. So most of the conceptual database model, it is represented by, means database designer, always means most of the time they use entity model in order to describe the overall database. Okay, so ER model means here we will have entities. So entities is going to represent the real life entities, the real life objects, and then we will have a relationship between the entities. Okay, and we are going to represent the entities and the relationship between the entities by using entity relationship model. Okay, available in the market like Oracle, SQL Server, all of them. And in those software, what happen is the database are represented by using relational models. Okay, so that is why they are known as RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. They are known as RDBMS, means they are relational, means they are based on the relational models. So that is why they are known as RDBMS. Okay, so most of the software available in the market is based on relational model. So after relationship model, we'll be seeing the relational model. And the last one, this is the means this some of the database management system that is available in the market, and they are based on, they are the latest database models, a database management system which is based on object oriented database model. So you already know what is object oriented, isn't it? You have already learned C++ or might be Java. So in that thing, what happened is the objects or the things, the real life entities, real life things, it will be represented by objects. Okay, and it is going to have object name and it is going to have its features. Okay, object name and features. Like if we have a object student, then a student, the features of the student is going to be name, enrollment number, semester, like that, isn't it? Department. So it will have objects. Inside the object, it will have object name and the features of the object, and then it will be represented by these objects, and there will be a link between object to object. Okay, there will be a link between object to object, and this link is the link which is representing the relationship between the objects. Okay, and those database models is known as data object oriented database model. Okay, so we are not going to go in the depth of this object-oriented database model. In the last few classes, I'll just mention some of the latest database management system which is using object-oriented database model. Okay, so the thing means the models that is included in your syllabus is entity relationship model and relational model. So we'll be seeing from the next class onward, we'll be seeing entity relationship model. Okay, so any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? We have means I'm not going to start the entity relationship model. That is why uh, I'll be stopping here. Okay. So we'll see the actually means we'll see the entity relationship model with examples from the next class onwards. So if you have any doubt in today's lecture, you can tell me, or else I will start collecting your attendance. Okay, then response to your attendance. Abhijit,